And welcome to ChistineEss Center for Spiritual Living here in Renton, Washington. I'm so delighted to see all of your faces and to be here with you this morning for our meditation service. My name is ChistineEss Young, and I am a spiritual practitioner here at Genesis Center for Spiritual Living. So for the next 20 minutes, we get to dive into that delicious, rich, meditative space and just have an experience there before we begin our Sunday morning service. So to begin, I just want to invite you to just find your seat, that meditational term where we figure out what our body's doing. We turn our attention to our body and we allow ourselves to feel supported by whatever is beneath us. When I find my meditational seat, I find I'm most successful when my spinal column is perpendicular to the pull of gravity. So I find that if I'm laying down flat on my bed, I have a very different meditational experience than if I'm sitting up. It's usually called taking a nap. Also restful, but a different practice. So I like to allow myself to sit perpendicular to gravity, and I just notice my spine. I notice how my vertebrae are stacked one on top of another. And I just allow myself to feel light up through the top of my head as if a long string is just pulling me. And when I'm sitting in a chair or on the floor or on a mat or on a pillow, whatever the case, I like to keep a space between my back and the back of the chair. And that just helps me keep my attention present in the here and now just enough during meditation to stay awake. And so now I invite you to just turn your attention to your breath and allow your breathing to flow freely, deeply. Allow yourself to just be present with your lung capacity wherever you're at in this moment. Allowing that air to draw in through your nose and just release out through your mouth. And just allow yourself to fall into that rhythmic dance with circulation itself. And if your mind starts to wander, you can bring your attention to the circulation you're experiencing. Sometimes I give my mind something to play with to help it settle. And so in this moment, I'm going to focus on circulation and the greater depth that I can experience circulation. I recognize that I experience circulation all the time. But I also recognize I don't spend my time noticing it. So let's notice now. Notice how we are entirely surrounded by an atmosphere, providing to us what our body needs as we inhale. And notice as we exhale, the atmosphere all around us receives that which is no longer serving us and repurposes it, that it may feed us again with all that we need. And I just notice how that circulation flows. I notice the ease. I notice how it just continues so often without my even thinking about it. And as I notice the circulation of my breath, I also recognize the circulation of everything in my physical body. I notice the circulation of the blood that carries the nutrients throughout each component to each cell. And so I allow myself to just relax and be open to the flow of circulation of blood through my body. I allow my muscles to be open. I notice my face. I notice any tension I might notice in my face. I pay attention to my eyebrows and my forehead, and I allow them to just relax and be open to that circulation. I invite all of my being to easily participate in that flow. I notice my temples and my ears, and I just invite them to relax. I allow them to just participate so easily and effortlessly in the flow. I notice my eyeballs, and though my eyes are closed, I know that if I were gazing at anything, it would be with a gentle ease. I notice my sinus cavity in my throat, and I just allow it to be open and invite the flow and circulation. I allow the muscles in my neck to support just enough and then be open and relaxed. And just be part of that flow and allow life to flow through so gracefully, so easily. And I notice my shoulders, and I just allow them to be open. I lift them up high and roll them back and just drop them open. Noticing my whole heart chakra and my chest area is just open and available to be in that experience of the flow of life itself. And as I continue to turn my attention to circulation, I allow myself to continue to feel open and available. And as I am open, I recognize it's not just the air, and it's not just the circulatory systems in my body, but the energy of life itself and all that it carries. I allow myself to be open to wisdom that life brings. And as I just recognize my body and my torso and allow that openness and that circulation, I recognize the circulation of energy and vitality that life brings and how it moves through me in every moment, in every way. I allow myself to be energized with the richness of life. I allow myself to be open and available for all that is inspirational to every part of my being. I allow myself to be creatively inspired, and I am available for that to circulate in, as, and through me. And as I make myself available to the richness of wisdom, of energy, I recognize that all of this is packaged in that idea of agape, the deep, unabiding love that life itself is at the core. And I recognize that all that is for me, all that is circulated through me, is done so as love. So with each breath, I just allow myself to recognize the love that is circulating. I recognize that love was before I recognized my own existence. I recognized the flow of love brought me into this world as I know myself in this moment. I recognize that endless supply of love brought me to the moment where I am now and continues to supply and fulfill my every need. And as I recognize the love that flows through me, I celebrate the cooperation that happens in flow and circulation. I celebrate the sacred dance all these individualized components of life have with one another. I celebrate it on a small personal level as I celebrate how the cells in my body all work together to form an organ, and how all the organs work together to form my physical body, and how I get to have a body that has life. And on a greater scheme, I recognize how bodies of many people come together to create great works. I recognize that circulatory flow, how many bodies come together to form this beautiful spiritual community of Genesis. So with each breath, I allow myself to just notice how I am deeply connected within myself and with everything and everyone around me. I recognize the only thing happening here is love itself unfolding. I recognize the only thing happening here is wisdom unfolding, creatively inspiring. I recognize the only thing happening here is love, energetically expressing, supplying the means to express the wisdom, the creative inspiration, so that love can continue in circulation, continue its creative life, expressive path. I just recognize the dance that life has with itself in every moment. I recognize that circulation. I recognize my role in all of it. And I am delighted to draw in the next breath with full awareness of the love that supports me in this very moment. And as I continue to breathe, I just continue to recognize how circulation expresses in my life. recognize that on that exhale, when I release that no longer serves me, not only is it repurposed to come back and serve me in a way that's supportive, but that which I give is received to support the life in things around me and in people around me. The service that I give as my creative expression serves others around me. And as they give their creative expression, I am supported. So I recognize it is my place and my birthright to receive every support and to give every creative expression freely. I just recognize my invitation to be part of circulation and how important it is that I say yes to being part of life itself. And as I allow my mind to contemplate these things, I recognize the love that flows through, around, and as me with each and every breath. And I am grateful. I am so grateful for the love that is my life, expressing in, as, and through me. I am so grateful for love that is my life, that is constantly expressing in me, constantly expressing as me, and always expressing through me. I am so grateful to be in cooperation with this magnificent circulation of love with life itself. So with each breath as you go forth throughout your day, this is a practice of remembering every breath is not only supported and you're supported, but it's love that's pouring in as and through with each breath. Everything is connected. My role is significant and important. Each breath is practicing knowing and remembering the truth of our being. Each breath is love and expression. And I am grateful. I invite you now to gently bring your attention and your awareness fully back into the room where you sit. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Maybe start to move your body a bit. And just shift where your awareness is Also recognizing that the awareness being on our breath and what that means, that stays. It may not be the focus of our conscious attention today, but it'll definitely be that which our subconscious is still focused on. We allow that to be which supports us today. Thank you so much for joining me for our meditation service. I invite you to join us for our Sunday celebration service, which begins at 10 o'clock this morning here at Genesis Center for Spiritual Living in Renton, Washington at the Carco Theater, and also on Facebook and on our website. If you have any questions or want to learn more about Genesis, you can visit us at genesiscsl.org. Thank you for being here.